This bench is in violation of the bylaws. You need to remove it from the common area immediately.
I understand your concern, but my survey shows it's on my property.
Blue strobes flashed across my living room wall while cold air slid under the door. It was 6:12 a.m. I smelled wet asphalt and burned coffee from the patrol car idling by the curb. Karen, our HOA president in a neon vest, stood over my sidewalk bench like a queen over a trophy. Two guys in an HOA pickup lifted the bench and strapped it down. She waved a clipboard at me and said violation, obstruction, fine starts today. $200 per day. I stood there barefoot, breath fogging, watching the bench my dad built with cedar slats vanish into the gray morning. A neighbor peeked through blinds. They snapped shut like eyelids. I felt small, angry, and very awake. They said the bench sat on common property. They said it had to go because someone complained 11 times since last fall. The board claimed they had owned that segment since 2009, so it was theirs to seize. That was the line that stuck in my teeth. HOA seized my sidewalk bench since 2009, had no idea I am their landlord. That is what this fight is about. Not a seat. Power. My dad set that bench there so the school kids could tie their shoes. Suddenly it was contraband. Suddenly I was a problem to fine. I tried to talk first. I went to the board meeting on May 3, 2024, at 7:00 p.m. The room smelled like dry carpet and printer toner. I held my photos. Karen stared past me and moved to the next agenda item. A guy on the board brushed invisible lint off his sweater and said submit a form. Neighbors avoided my eyes like the floor was lava. One texted me later, sorry, I have a fence permit pending. The fear was its own rule. Then the calls started. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. The officer was bored and kind. He shrugged. I logged 9 more calls after that, all nothing. Karen smirked at me by the mailboxes and said maybe follow the rules like everyone else. That was my line in the sand. I promised myself I would use proper channels only. No yelling. No drama. Just facts. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. I opened the county website, poured coffee, and dug into parcel maps. I pulled plat overlays, tax rolls, and old deeds. On a rainy Tuesday at 9:00 p.m., I found a weird line on the map. The sidewalk strip wasn't part of the HOA's main lot. It was its own sliver with a boring name, Utility Access and Pedestrian Easement, created in 2009. The owner listed was a holding company. My heart did a small kick when I saw the next page. The holding company had merged into my late uncle's property LLC in 2016. That LLC transferred to me and my sister in 2021 when we settled the estate. The file landed with 63 pages. Lease addendum attached. Annual rent, $1. Tenant, the HOA. I sat there, stunned. I had not known. The bench they took sat on land leased to them by me. I called the recorder's office to confirm on May 7 at 10:18 a.m. The clerk said it plain as toast. Yes, you are the lessor. I printed the lease, the merger docs, and the plat. I drafted a polite notice to cure. I gave them 10 days to return my property, rescind fines, and schedule a safety review, per Section 7 indemnity clause. I also emailed the city inspector a friendly heads-up about the HOA modifying a public easement without permission. Then I booked the clubhouse patio for a community Q&A. I promised it would be calm. I promised cookies. The payoff came at sunset. The patio string lights buzzed. Phones were up. I set a small projector on a card table and clicked through my slides. Here's the plat line. Here's the lease. Here's the rent of $1 since 2009. Here's the indemnity clause they signed. Karen said that's fake, and my projector smiled back with the recorder's stamp, date, and instrument number. I played a short clip of the pickup hauling my bench. People gasped. The city inspector stepped in right on time with a bright vest and a tape measure. The police officer who came at 4:27 a.m. leaned against the wall, arms crossed. I kept my voice steady. You seized property off land you rent from me. Everyone went still. Then someone laughed. Then everyone did. Neighbors started filming. One whispered landlord plot twist and almost dropped his phone. Comments hit my feed faster than popcorn. A post on Tuesday night got 120,000 views by morning. People stitched me saying the landlord is you? My DMs flooded with bench memes. Someone edited Karen into a musical with a dramatic bench solo. My favorite was a loop of her waving the clipboard like she was directing traffic and nobody moving. The mood flipped from fear to fun. Folks who hid before now waved at me in the street. Even the mailman said you got receipts, kiddo, and kept going like nothing happened. The authorities moved next. The city inspector wrote a notice right there for unapproved removal of fixtures on an easement, with a deadline and a fine. The officer read my timeline sheet and frowned at the midnight calls. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. He said it quiet, like a warning wrapped in a blanket. The HOA's lawyer emailed me at 9:13 a.m. the next day. They proposed an immediate return of the bench, a stop to fines, and a meeting with the board. I added one more term, a posted apology to the community for the harassment and the nuisance calls. We also set a clause update for emergency access, because safety matters. When they balked, I filed in small claims for the fines I'd already paid and added costs. Court set a date. They settled before it. Now the bench is back. Fresh cedar oil. 2 coats. The kids sit and tie shoes again. We added a little plaque that says rest here, be kind. The HOA refunded $1,200 and paid to replace the cracked slat from the pickup strap. Karen stepped down as president and stayed on the gardening committee, where she is actually pretty good with roses. The new board posted the apology and opened meetings for real questions. When the patrol car goes by, it smells like coffee but no one is afraid. I still keep the binder on a shelf. Not to fight. To remember. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.